good morning, folks. It's 10 minutes past 7 o'clock on a Tuesday, which means it's time to visit with our good friend Ron, the car guy, and teach you a little something about your car that you might not have known about. And we're going to put the brakes on a bunch of different things here, right, Ron?
We are going to put the brakes on. What I want to talk about today, I've got 4 tips or 4 things that you should know before you buy brakes on your vehicle. And what's interesting, I mean, we get this all the time. I'm sure a lot of auto repair shops do, but people call up on the phone and they say, how much to put brakes on my, 2010 Impala. Mm-hmm.
Just generically asking, what's your cost on brakes?
Yeah, how much to put brakes on my car? And I get it from their standpoint. I mean, they're curious, how much money am I going to have to spend?
Right.
But that's a question nobody can answer.
Well, you see signs, Ron, that'll say brake job, so much money.
Exactly. And the problem is you don't know what that car needs. Some cars might need just brake pads. Some cars might need brake pads and rotors. We had a car in yesterday, we had a Nissan in that had a brake grinding noise, and it didn't even need brakes. There was another component.
What was the problem?
The backing plate, the metal shield behind the brakes had rusted and was leaning against the brake.
And that was the noise.
And that was the noise. So, that person could have called 10 places, got 10 prices on brakes, and then when they arrive,
that wasn't even the issue.
That isn't even the issue. So
what'd you do to fix it?
We replaced the backing plates.
That's it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, if you call 10 places, you're going to get 10 prices for brakes on your car. And the only thing that I can guarantee you is that price is not a promise, and it will change when you arrive because they don't know what you need. So the best thing to do is, pick somebody that you know and trust, take your car in, tell them what's going on, show them the noise, and then have them look at it and tell you what it needs to fix it. It's really, much simpler that way than to get a low price to get you in the door and then have the big letdown when the phone.
Now, are people recording the noises like with a video with their cell phones now and playing them back for you? Like you can, without having to take the phone and show what's going on, you can start a video recorder and lay it down and then drive along so you record the noise and then turn it off after you stop and then say, here's what it sounds like.
They email the noise to us.
They email the noise. Oh my goodness, that's even better.
To us, or video. I've had they've opened the hood and they've taken a video of their engine running, making a noise, and they'll email. And that does help. That does help. In the past, we had to try to coordinate schedules. Take us for a ride, show us what's going on, because the noise you hear might not be the noise we try to fix. There might be another noise that we hear that's more prevalent, and you don't care about that because it's been making that noise for 3 years. You're worried about the new noise. So yeah, the tape recording definitely comes in to help.
I would imagine besides the work that needs to be done, there's different parts that can be put in as well, different brake pads, things like that.
Absolutely. And I brought some examples here. I want to talk a little bit about brake pads because this is something that the average person doesn't know, but I mean, I could go home tonight and carve brake pads out of balsa wood and sell them tomorrow. There is no there's no safety standard. There's no minimum standard for brake pads.
They'd be a little soft. But
they would. They wouldn't last very long.
There's no standard?
No, there's nothing. There's nothing out there regulating the quality of brake pads. And so what we run into is I can buy, this isn't even the cheapest brake pad out there. I can buy brake pads for your car, Jackie, for probably around $15.
Jeez.
And I can buy brake pads for your car for over $100.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that the $100 guy is making a lot more money. There truly is a difference.
Okay.
And so some of the things that we're going to look at, this is kind of a middle of the road type brake pad. And then this is a more premium brake pad. This one's closer to what would come on the car when it's new. And so you can kind of look at it from a...
So what's the main... I'll turn them around so they look the same way. Here we go.
There we go.
What's the main difference here?
Well, the two main differences is the material. There's a little bit of a color variation. The material that they're made out of, this one's better. You really can't tell that by looking. But one of the main differences is you can see on this one, it's just kind of a 90-degree angle here at the edge.
A slight bevel on it. Very, very slight bevel.
And then you can see this one. It doesn't matter how we turn it. You can see there's much more of a bevel. So when you apply the brakes and they go up against the rotor, you've got a sharp edge here. This thing's going to squeak.
Oh, okay.
This one's going to lead in like it's going into a corner, and then it's going to lead out where there's a cut in the middle here to get rid of, they call it a gassing effect, get rid of the heat and stuff that builds up in there. So that's one of the main differences. You can kind of look at it like, you know, this is going in getting just a basic manicure. This is getting it with shellac.
Got it. Okay.
You know,
now
this thing's going
I'm
to
so
chip.
glad you know the.
Now the working on it, is this ground? Do they grind this, or is it molded like this? Do you know?
This is ground. This is
So there's
finished.
more work involved
more
in this
labor
one here.
building
More
this.
labor intensive.
Absolutely, or a big machine or something. You know, and like the manicure, I mean, this is going to chip off. It's going to peel. You're not going to be happy. It isn't going to last very long. This is this is similar to what came on the car new. The other difference we have is on the back side of the brake pad. This one just has a steel shim with a painted coating. This one has a constrained layer shim. There's steel, there's rubber underneath it.
Oh, there is?
It's got a coating that's not going to rust. And this is what absorbs the vibration when you apply the brakes, so they don't squeak and make noise. So, and they even make brake pads that have no shim on the back. It's just a plain old brake pad. So again, what we run into is you go in, you have your brakes done, and what's frustrating for me is the place that's doing the brakes doesn't give you the option. They don't tell you there's an option pads. They're like, oh yeah, to do brakes on your car is $209.
This is what it is.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you get the new brakes on your car, and 30 days later they're squeaking when you apply the brakes and stuff. And then you get the excuse, oh, well, it's got to break in. You know, we got to wait for the pads to seat in. We got to wait for them to break in. You didn't do it when it was new. You bought that car brand new.
You don't need to have them break in.
No, it's because the quality of the pad wasn't there.
Yeah.
If you get a decent quality pad, is there an average lifespan of those, or it really depends on the people, the car, where they're driving?
It does depend on how you drive, but good quality brakes should last as long as the original ones did. So as an example, my truck's got 90,000 miles on it.
Okay.
I'm on my third set of brake pads.
All right.
Okay.
And I'm aggressive. I mean, I know that I wear them out, but the first set of brake pads lasted, you know, around 40,000 miles. I got 45,000 out of the second set because I put good ones on. I didn't get, 20. I don't have squeaking problems
So
with my brakes.
what's an average cost of a decent quality brake pad for an average car?
Well, we get into, whether or not, and that was another item on my list, do the rotors need replaced, or can we resurface the rotors? And again, let's say we're resurfacing the rotors, we're putting a good quality brake pad on, we're lubricating everything, we're putting new hardware and shims in so it doesn't squeak. You're probably going to spend around $280, $300 to get a good quality brake job done.
Let's move on to rotors really quick. So tell us a little bit about that and how that affects what's going on.
We're back to a quality issue.
Okay.
There's a huge quality difference in brake rotors, and years back, and still at some places, you have a lathe, you have a machine that resurfaces the rotors.
And make it smooth.
Exactly. The lathe looks similar to this. There's a lot of shops now that don't have brake lathes because, I mean, a quality brake lathe like that's going to cost over $10,000. And their theory is, well, I can buy rotors for the car for like $22.
Say, what's the difference price-wise? I think you just answered it.
You can buy a brake rotor for your car for $20, but you're getting the non-shellac pedicure. It's a cheap rotor.
Okay.
I would rather have a factory rotor or a quality rotor that's been resurfaced
than a replacement.
Yeah, because it's going to last longer.
A knockoff.
Exactly. And so, it's all about the quality as to how long your brakes last, how much it costs to have it done, and whether or not they're going to vibrate or squeal or make noise.
All right, something to think about.
Yeah, so does the place have a brake lathe?
Okay, and what about fluid?
Fluid is the forgotten item. I mean, we see that all the time when people have an estimate for brakes somewhere else and they're not changing the fluid. We test the fluid. You can test what's going on in the fluid. Years ago, all you cared was whether or not there was fluid in the system.
Right.
Now, that fluid, with the anti-lock brakes and the computer braking systems and stuff that are on cars, we've got a lot of components in there that can rust. And brake fluid's job, one of the jobs, is to absorb moisture. So when that moisture builds up in the brake fluid and it can't absorb anymore, then those little components start rusting, and all of a sudden you've got a $800,000, $2,000
failure.
component that's failed.
Really?
Absolutely. So the brake fluid should be tested and flushed.
What kind of fluid are we talking here? What kind of dot rating are we talking?
Well, that's a great question, Lou. Cars came with a .3, and they also have a .4, which is a higher performance. You really don't need to put anything more in the car than what it came with.
So just check your manual.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, but you want to make sure you're going to some place that understands all these components so that you're getting the best price, the best deal, and the right thing done when it comes to brakes on your car.
So put your brakes on. Stop at 1901 Northwest 92nd Street, and if you pass them because your brakes don't work, then just go around the block and go see
Or
them.
we can tow you back.
There you go.
That works too.
We will be right back. This is CW.